Hey, Demonic Pacts is right around the corner, and Jagex has cooked up a brand new relic called Soul Harvest. Now, I thought I had my tier 5 relic choice kind of solidified, but after seeing this, it's making me really reconsider. I want to get into an analysis and share with you my insights and the things that I understood and learned about this relic, and maybe that'll help you make your decision. So first of all, let's talk about the overview of this relic. I'm going to cover both the relic itself as well as the details and clarifications we got from Jagex and Discord. Then we're going to go into Soul Shards. That's the new resource you're going to get from this relic. And I'm going to talk about how this relic is going to become your rune crafting and prayer fix. And then lastly, I'll leave you with my final thoughts and whether or not you should pick Soul Harvest in your lineup. So, Soul Harvest. This is going to introduce a toggleable effect that will allow you to convert bones and ashes automatically into soul shards. Now, in the video, we saw the player convert the soul shards and then automatically go into the player's inventory. So it's kind of like a free auto loot, which is kind of cool. And remember, this is toggleable, so you can just go into your menu, open up the relic, and turn it off at any time that you do want to collect ashes and bones for whatever reason, right? If not, you can just automatically collect them into soul shards, right? In addition to that, while harvesting any farming crop, right? Now, this doesn't count as chopping trees in your farming patches or collecting fruit from them, or maybe it does count the fruit. Definitely leave a clarification in the comments below if you know. However, for planting herbs and watermelons and snape grass and anything else, whenever you do gather that resource and you get the XP drop for it, you will at that point get a soul shard, right? Now, the soul shard is going to be dependent on the XP gained. This is the line here below, which says you'll receive 1 shard per 4 XP gained while harvesting your crops. So higher level herbs and allotment patch items will gather more shards, and the lower level ones will get less. And soul shards can be used for the following. They can be used in place of pure essence. So now you no longer need to gather pure essence from monsters or wherever you would get them. And you can also sacrifice 100 at a time at the libation bowl for 550 prayer XP. Now remember, 550 is before the XP League multiplier, so wherever you are in your relic unlocks, this is a tier 5 relic, so you'll start out at 12x and it'll go up to 16x when you get to the tier 7 unlock, and that will be a massive XP drop. And in addition to that, you will receive more shards for higher tier bones and ashes, right? So if you think about the regular bones, big bones, dragon bones, hydra bones, superior dragon bones, same thing with the infernal ashes and stuff like that, you will get more. We have some nice clarifications from Discord on the Jagex mods that provided. And so number one thing here, Nature's Accord is also a tier 5 relic, and if you reloaded, you get Nature's Accord and Soul Harvest. Jagex did clarify that you're not going to get the 10x soul shards with Nature's Accord. So Nature's Accord gives you a 10x multiplier on all your resources, and then that would 10x your soul shards in turn, but Jagex has decided to disable that. Now remember, you're still going to get a massive amount of soul shards even when you're gathering all the snape grass. The XP drops in that are absurd. You're going to get I think several hundreds to thousands of soul shards per allotment patch. So don't fret on this. If you were to get 10x, that would be insane. The amount of soul shards you get would from one allotment patch would be probably enough to just kind of finish rune crafting to 99, honestly. I haven't done the exact math on it, but I remember when I was testing out some numbers, it was really, really high. In addition to that, also Tithe Farm does not generate soul shards. Tithe Farm is also another one of those really broken training methods that works with Nature's Accord. And if you had that and that also generated soul shards, it would be ridiculous, right? Soul shards also give you 1 soul per blessed bone. In the case that you're comparing it to the blessed bone shards that you're getting in Farlamore, right? And then for ashes, they kind of give you a comparison. So abyssal ashes are the same as hydra bones. Infernal ashes are the same as superior dragon bones. So killing, abbey demons, right? Big demonic bosses, things like that, like Krill in the Asgarnia God of War's dungeon, stuff like that, will get those higher bones and ashes overall. So gathering soul shards, as I mentioned, this is going to be kind of an automatic AFK pickup. You see here a player just kind of maybe auto retaliating against a bunch of monsters. Anywhere where you can be aggressive and kill monsters, you should just be able to AFK and get bones, right? So this is effectively another AFK relic. Absolutely really, really nice quality of life, as long as you can sustain, whether it's prayer or health. If you haven't seen the combat masteries, now called Demonic Pacts, definitely check those out. They are the spoiler that came out today with a lot more details and information about them and how many points you get, right? And so with those masteries, you should easily be able to AFK any monster that's aggressive in an area for some amount of time, and thus you'll be able to collect the shards from the bones that you get dropped afterwards. Just remember, the gemstone crab does not drop bones or ashes, right? And in addition to that, as I also mentioned, whether you have the farming relic or not, everyone's going to get about the same amount of soul shards. Remember, the farming relic doesn't make farming instant this time around, so everyone is going to be doing those farming runs, those herb runs, planting and gathering. And even if you had it instantaneous, you would still be farming and planting, gathering those herbs. And so while doing this, you will also get an additional nice boost of soul shards. Personally, if you're going to pick this relic, just wait to tier 5 also to probably start all of your higher level herbs and farming runs, and you'll have a nice generation of soul shards that way. So Soul Harvest is going to be your big rune crafting fix. Okay, we haven't seen Banker's Note. There's a chance maybe it comes up as like the tier 7 fighting with Reloaded. But in addition to that, given that we haven't seen it and given that it was so powerful, we might not see its return because we have a lot of other really powerful new relics. I'm thinking we won't have it. And so Soul Harvest is going to give you a stackable play to get pure essence and bring that all the way to any sort of altar, whether it's ZMI or the nature altar. Don't forget, we all have access to Karamja, so everyone can go to the nature's altar. There you're going to be able to kind of just click and spam, and effectively, if you've stored up enough shards, you're going to be able to get 99 rune crafting in no time. This is also really important if you're going to be pushing for the 50 mil tasks. I'm sure you're going to be doing tons of PVM on the way, and then so once you stack up a ton of these shards, you can just take a quick rune crafting break, and you can kind of just spam click. It's also a good thing to kind of just have it on your phone and just keep tapping as well and get that rune crafting experience. It's not going to process all of your shards at once. It does 500 at a time, but that's still going to be a massive amount, and you're going to get crazy XP drops that way. Also, this is going to be a really good prayer fix. Now, if you were killing these monsters, you were going to get the bones and probably pray against some altar, whether it's your house altar or maybe you're choosing Wildy and use those bones there. You still have to pick them up, store them, stack them, unnote them if you're in the Wildy, right? Stuff like that to then get the prayer XP. Now, we all do have access to Varlamore, and we do have like the libation bowl to get that, prayer experience from moons and stuff like that. However, this is just going to convert that into a different loot drop, and then that's just going to be able to give it to you. Now, remember, any sort of bones you get as rewards, right? So from the Perilous Moons chest, you do get bones as rewards. Those are not going to be converted. I don't believe so. If you do know if that's been clarified, leave a comment below. However, I don't think because they're coming in there, I think this is happening at the time that the bones actually drop, is that they get converted into soul shards. So just kind of keep that in mind. Nonetheless, I think you're going to get tons of prayer XP stacked up. You just have to go here, and you can, again, another AFK activity, click it, and then go and, max out your prayer. All right, so final thoughts. Up until now, all the relics that we've seen, we really haven't seen a fix for prayer or for rune crafting. I know the transmutation one is going to be a potential prayer fix for a lot of you, and if you are going to pick that, that's a great choice as well, probably. However, this is one relic that specifically targets two of the slightly more annoying skills. The prayer has historically been fixed one way or the other for the last few leagues to some degree, right? Especially last league with Golden God, it was absolutely brokenly, absurdly easy. In this case, it's still going to be super easy. The difference is you're going to have to take it's going to take a longer time for you to build up that stack of soul shards, and then you're going to be able to just go ahead and max out and hit that 50 mil no problem. But in addition to that, it also provides you a great AFK method to gather those resources. So if you're considering endless harvest because you want to be able to AFK, this is another good relic that you can also use to AFK. So maybe you can go abundance, and then now you have an alternate AFK activity that's still gathering you resources that's going to be beneficial to you. Overall, I think this is really powerful. I think anyone who is going to be going for the 50 mil tasks should be picking this, assuming we don't have any other relics that fix rune crafting. Now, if you're just a player who just cares about enjoying the league, having fun, and not pushing towards that dragon trophy or maxing out, definitely, you don't have to consider this. There are other ways to get total level and complete tasks and get all of your unlocks no problem. Remember, the difference between dragon and just getting all tier 8 relics is tons of points. I think it's like 28,000 for tier 8 and then like 60,000 for dragon, right? And so you have a lot more wiggle room to just skip out on tasks. If you don't like rune crafting and you don't care about maxing, you can probably just skip out on this relic entirely, right? And go for one of the other powerful ones. However, if you're like me and you're considering pushing towards dragon, I always want the option personally to be able to go to dragon, even if I just choose to, hey, I had a lot of fun, I'm going to take a break, get back to the other things that I'm doing. I think that's okay as well, but it's good for me to have that option. So I'm very inclined to pick this. Now, I know this is a little bit of a difficult choice with the other relics at the tier 5 options. I am going to consider taking this one and maybe reloading to another tier 5 relic. Again, we haven't seen the last tier 7 relic yet, and so we don't really know where it is. If Jagex does produce another rune crafting fix, I might be less likely to pick this one, right? But definitely leave a comment below. Tell me what you're going to choose for your tier 5 relics now that we've had them all spoiled. If you found this video helpful, definitely give a like. And lastly, if you're waiting for the video for me to analyze the planner and the combat masteries that have been now converted to demonic packs, definitely subscribe and you'll hopefully get an update from me soon. I'm definitely cooking and reviewing all the masteries. I want to be able to present a few different options for you, so it's going to just take some time to really analyze, create some builds, and share them with you. All right, hey, thanks so much for watching.